So we're here in the dining room slash kitchen slash breakfast nook slash mudroom of this property that we're renovating in Silver Spring, Maryland. This is one of the areas I think we're going to have the largest impact on the property. We're going to take the dining room, which is going to be behind me, and we're going to incorporate that with what was the old kitchen in the house with what is now the current kitchen, which was an addition, to form one big eat-in kitchen. Brittany, when we're renovating a kitchen like this, what do we want to look for design elements?
So the first thing that buyers are looking for in this neighborhood is value. It's a lot of first-time buyers or families that are growing. So the first thing that we need to do is make sure we have a lot of open spaces in the property. The second thing we need to do is that everything is up to current design expectations. So white cabinets, open spaces, big, large island, places where the family can sit and eat.
Okay. So part of this project is going to be removing the structural wall, which is to the right of Brittany, that separates the living room from the dining room in this more traditional layout of this house. We're also going to need to move gas from one end of the property all the way to the other for our stove, and also move some plumbing around. Craig, from a construction standpoint, what challenges do we face here?
Right, so to achieve what Brittany wants to achieve, these big open spaces, this big island, and to make all that work, right, we need to take out all these interior walls. We've got an interior wall between multiple rooms here that we're going to open up. We know that that's running counter to the wood floors, so we know that that is not load-bearing, but we do have this main center wall of the house, which is our load-bearing wall. I've already checked downstairs, it's sitting right on that iron beam downstairs, so we all know that this is load-bearing. So we've got to go through a whole process. We brought the engineer out, they've checked it, we've confirmed that it's load-bearing. So what's going to happen is we're going to have to put in a number of LVLs, these laminated structural beams. They're going to run across here, we're going to hide the posts in the two ends. And then we can go ahead and take this wall out, opening it up, which is going to give us room for that big old island that everybody loves, right? And then moving these interior walls will all come out, and then under us, we have an unfinished ceiling. It's drop ceiling. So with that, that'll make that gas run nice and easy. We can take it from the one side to the other side.
I don't usually hear you say easy.
Right. Well, it shouldn't be too bad. We're already open. I'm not demoing anything that we're not already demoing. We're taking care of it now. That's also going to allow us to get that big, beautiful range that everybody wants.
That's right.
And gas, which everybody loves. So we're going to be able to achieve all of our goals.
So when we first started talking, before we started shooting video, you pointed out a surprise that you found inside this wall.
Yes.
What's inside this wall that is going to create a little bit of a challenge for us?
So running up, the engineer had discovered, after our initial walkthroughs, had discovered a ductwork that's going from the main trunk line below us up through the wall and carrying into the upper bedroom. So that's coming up and splitting and feeding our upper bedrooms. So we're going to have to deal with that. The way we're going to deal with it is we're going to run that over into the wall that is not part of the demo. We're going to hide that in that wall and then split it in the areas we want.
From a construction standpoint, because I get this question a lot as an estimator, how much time does that add additional?
Well, the big issue is going to be it's a lot of custom duct fittings. That's where the real money comes in. You're only talking about maybe a day or two of duct work, but duct work is expensive, and those custom fittings have to be done by a custom fitting shop and have to be made, and that takes time. So you can add up to 2 weeks to a project if you open up one of those and get that kind of surprise.
Yeah, and there's no way for us to know as an estimator when we're just coming in here and people want us to punch a hole through the wall. What am I going to find on that wall? Am I going to find pipes? Am I going to find a ductwork? Am I going to find gas line? Am I going to find some other kind of utility that I may not even be able to move, right?
And like Brittany said, essential to the sale of the house has got to be to open this up and get that island. Without an island, this place is useless, and there's nowhere to put an island except right here.
That's right.
So we've got to do it.
So the island is the showpiece, right?
Yes.
So people walk into the home, it's going to be the first thing that they see, and that's going to give the wow factor. And I love that you just explained what it takes to open up these walls. Because people watch TV shows and they say, let's open up the walls. They don't understand everything that goes into doing that. So it does circle back and encompass what we were saying, that the value, people really appreciate the value in the house.
And one thing to that point of how hard it is to take it out, this house was built in the 40s, so there are plaster walls here. So it's not just knocking out some drywall and some 2x4s and we're ready to roll. We're not taking the saws to the wall. This is going to take some serious demo, and it's going to be some serious hauling stuff away. One of the questions I get a lot from customers is, can I do my own demo? I think you just pointed out right there about the bent corner of why you can't do your own demo. And I'm like, fine, you can do your own demo if you want to haul the 5,000 pounds worth of plaster to the dump for me, then we're good to go with the demo. So Why don't we step a little bit further into the space and we'll talk a little bit about the layout. How about that? We are now in what was the original kitchen in the house. It was converted into being like an eating area. To my left, there's a wall that separates the dining room where we were just standing, and to Brittany's right is what is now the existing kitchen. So Brittany, opening this space up is important, correct? How would we lay this out? What would be your recommendations?
So when people think of kitchens and washing dishes at a sink, they usually think of a window. So we thought of the idea of moving the kitchen actually over under the window, expanding the cabinetry along the wall, bringing in the eating area into this space. The big island is almost going to connect the two spaces, and we'll have the refrigerator behind me, a big pantry to the right, which every family loves and needs, and then to my right, another extra cabinetry for our wine bar or our coffee bar with a mudroom behind it.
Right. So your vision is to really take what is now a living room and a dining room and an eating area and a kitchen, which are all separate spaces, and mush them all together to be one awesome space.
We're combining spaces, we're not defining spaces.
I love that. Combining spaces, not defining spaces. I love it. The refrigerator is going to go roughly where you are.
Yes.
And what's behind me is an addition to the property, which is like a family room. There's a bathroom, and then there's another bedroom back there. So you'll have this open, light-filled, hopefully family-filled, love-filled space filled with hopefully lots of yummy food. So that's what our layout is going to be for the space. As you can see, we are in what is currently the kitchen, which was an addition, a little narrow addition that was added to the house at some point. There's the sink under the window, there's a stove behind Craig, the refrigerator was behind me. We are going to completely take this whole area out. What we're going to do, this section of the house where the stove is now, we're going to give back to the family room, which is behind us. The area that Craig and I are standing in right now is going to be the nice large pantry that Brittany was referring to. All the cabinetry to my right is going to get ripped out, and we're going to turn that into sort of some accessory cabinets, some extra countertop to be either a wine bar or a coffee bar or a prep area for food. And so this area is going to be a little bit separated from the rest of the kitchen, but more functional area.
So construction challenges that we have to deal with. We've got to deal with getting this sink halfway across creation.
All the way across.
All the way across.
The other side of the house.
Almost directly across. So I've got to find main drain lines. We've got to we've got to get our water lines over there. So we've got a lot of challenges. Again, we have the basement to work around, find those nice drains to tie back into. But that's going to be a challenge in its own right. The gas is behind me that I already talked about. That gas line's got to get all the way across as well. And then we just have to get all these appliances that are here across. But as you can see, there's barely enough room for the two of us now, mind you, a whole family being in the kitchen. That's the big point of opening the kitchen up for all of us.
You know, and I don't know if it can be shown or not, but the stove behind you is sort of in a little alcove with a wall next to the stove, which when I try to design kitchens, I always try to prevent there from being a wall next to the stove on either side, because how do you put a pot there? How do you put your cast iron pot with the handle of the pot hitting the wall? Makes it very difficult to cook. And in a larger house like this, you really want to have a nice big space to be able to cook a nice big Thanksgiving dinner or a holiday meal or some other kind of party. Talk to me about venting, because that is something that we discuss from time to time, is we're going to want to put a nice stove there. How are you planning on chasing the vent work out?
Right, so the challenge is moving the vent from one wall to another wall, and we've got to get that vent outside. We can't do a recirculating vent with the size of the range that we want to do. It's just not going to work. And we actually are going to have to go across the floor joist, which is going to create a problem. So what we'll do is we'll drop that vent right below the ceiling, and we'll tuck it in the back of all the cabinets and put a false panel, and you won't ever know that it's there, and that way we get that direct venting so that burnt bacon is not tearing up the house.
And you don't have to deal with cutting through the plaster walls.
Correct.
To run that vent out. That's smart. That's good thinking. So when we purchased this house, it has four upstairs bedrooms. There's 3 bedrooms that were original to the house, and then over the addition, there's another bedroom, but that bedroom is connected to one of the original bedrooms and not connected to a hallway. So it's only accessible through the original bedroom. There's also only 1 bathroom up here. Brittany, talk to me about how that's a drawback. You were talking about value add. What do I need to do to add value back to this house?
Buyers today, especially in this competitive market, when we talked about value, are expecting a master bath. We are right now standing in that original bedroom with the additional bedroom behind us. What I think we need to do here is make this actually our full master bath.
That's right.
We don't need to go as far as a 5-piece, but a nice stand-up glass shower, some nice porcelain and marble, white and bright and simple, and then adding some more storage space to the master as well is really important.
White and bright. That is a question that I get constantly when people are remodeling their bathroom. They want to make it nice, but they also want to, they say to me, I don't want to make it so that somebody else who comes in and buys the property won't want to buy it. So
Right.
when it comes to finishes, we're talking about marble, we're talking about porcelain, ceramic, colors. What do you recommend clients do for a bathroom remodel with keeping resale value in mind?
So a glass around the shower is great. I think it gives it a very elevated look. Something that people also like to look at is shapes. So like a hexagon, tile, something different than the regular subway. And even if it's a subway, maybe putting it into a herringbone pattern. Everyone loves the herringbone
They
pattern.
do.
So we can keep it really simple and appeal to the masses, but doing those final little touches is really important. And we're also gonna have a window in here. So we're gonna have bright color choices, but we're also gonna have a lot of sunlight as well.
So what about the debate between brushed nickel, oil rub bronze, black, brass? Where do you come down on that? From standing just from the point of resale, as you're advising me as your client that we're going to be building this bathroom and immediately list the house for sale,
Yeah.
what do you advise to me?
So brass is very in vogue, very on trend today. So is black, but something that always is going to carry through the different design areas, I feel, are the brushed nickel and the stainless steel. It's also a lot easier to keep clean in a bathroom when you think about that. The brass can tarnish, and it's really just more functional and more of like a kitchen from a design element rather than something that you're using multiple times a day.
Excellent advice.
Thank you.
Check back with us in a couple of months and you'll see whether we took her advice or not and how it came out. So we're here in the bedroom that's attached to the other bedroom that's on top of the addition. And this is the room that we're going to turn into the master bedroom with the bathroom, the master bathroom being directly behind Craig. So we faced a challenge in figuring out how to connect all of these rooms because you didn't want to have to go from the hallway through the bathroom to get to the bedroom. So what is the design we came up with and what are the challenges that you're going to face from a construction standpoint?
Right, so we have a number of concerns. Number one is our hallway. Our hallway has to be a minimum of 3 feet, so we've got to come down and utilize the space, but we don't want to take up too much space. So we made ourselves a hallway. We're going to basically take advantage of these closets that are here. That gives us the perfect hallway. Then we can take this bathroom here and turn it into a bathroom. Well, that beautiful window that's in that bathroom poses a huge construction issue. It can't really go in the shower.
Right.
And it blocks anywhere to put a vanity or anything like that. So we had to take that in mind when positioning where we want the toilet, where we want the shower, things like that. We were able to come together with a design that makes sense, that's functional, that will still look good and allow us to get that nice big shower that people who are buying in this price range want. The big challenge though is going to be running the toilet drain. Toilet drains are always an issue. It's a full 3-inch pipe. We only have 2x8s that we're working with on the floor, which means that I can only run it through so many joists before I run into a problem. So our goal is going to be to chase it down to the basement as quick as possible to deal with it down there.
So go straight down and then go over.
Correct, yeah, we'll come more to an exterior wall and chase a stack down an exterior wall.
So the challenge for you isn't getting the water to the bathroom, it's getting it out.
Correct,
Okay.
and only from the toilet. The small drains are easy to run around. I can make 2-inch holes through things, 1.5-inch holes, but that big 3-inch pipe is the big problem.
Got it. So we're going to close off the door that's in the hallway now that feeds these 2 bedrooms. We're going to take out the closet that's in the adjacent bedroom, this bedroom, and the closet that's behind me, and we're going to turn this into the hallway.
Correct.
There's going to be a door in the hallway that accesses the bedroom, a door in the hallway that accesses the bathroom. What about a closet?
Right.
And a closet.
I know, and we love closets.
We do.
And everybody wants closets. And again, the wonderful thing about this house is we have so many beautiful windows,
Right.
but that takes up closet space. So our thought process is we're going to try to put the closets on this wall. And we've already laid it out on the CAD drawings to get a bed in here, a king bed.
King bed.
And the way to make that work is we're going to either do some tighter framing, like 2x3 framing for a closet, or we're going to do wardrobes, built-in wardrobes. And
You know Brittany will like those wardrobes.
right, and so we can do some beautiful cabinetry, and that will offset some of the labor cost. Or if we go with the built closets, that labor cost will basically balance out.
Balance out the materials.
Exactly.
Standpoint. Excellent. And, you know, from that CAD drawing, one of the things that Brittany was advising us is that we need to have enough room in here for a master bed plus 2 end tables.
Yes.
Somebody's got to have a place to put your phone to charge. So we have to make sure we can get that. And that's the wonderful thing about having CAD, right? The design, we can make it work.
Correct. And what's great about working with Brittany is that she also has a great stager who can help us with that and make sure that we have those in place when it comes time to sell the house.
I can't wait to see what we do with this. This is going to be awesome.
Yep.
So we're talking a lot about value add. So I think the biggest overall improvement to the house is going to be that kitchen upstairs.
Correct.
But down here, we're in the basement right now. If you couldn't tell, we have some issues.
Yes.
And we need to add some value, serious value, because this basement is the entire footprint of this house. What do we need to do down here, Brittany?
I'm so excited to see the transformation of this basement. Right now, it is so dark and feeling a little cramped because it is so dark.
Yes.
So what needs to be done right down here is to create more of another family space, right?
Okay.
A lot of memories are made in the kitchen, but a lot of playtime is downstairs in the basement.
Okay.
So what we have to do here is get rid of this drop ceiling, get some more lighting in the space. Every buyer is scared of wood paneling. It has to go. And then let's get a really nice flooring down here, like a vinyl or an LVP or something that is going to stand the testament of time, but also be appropriate for a basement.
What about laundry space? Because I know that's important.
Yes.
Right now we have sort of a washer dryer in an unfinished room
Right.
with a sort of half-done bathroom, if we want to call it that, behind
Yeah.
the laundry area. So what do I need to do with this to add some value to my property?
So the bathroom needs to be completed for the basement. I think it also gives the buyer the sense that they can have a flexible bedroom space down here if needed.
Okay.
It doesn't have proper egress. You could go out through the garage here, but it does give the buyer that extra opportunity to host guests down here with a nice full bath. We'll shift the laundry over and have a proper mudroom / laundry space. Again, make it a little less scary, a little more bright and cheerful, a place that someone's not going to be miserable and they have to
I know you're a little
wash and
creeped out
fold
being
laundry.
down here. I know you're a little
Yeah.
creeped out. It'll look a lot better in a couple of months.
Okay, I can't wait to see it.
So for flooring options, you like the vinyl down here instead of carpet?
Absolutely. It's when you talk about value, the difference isn't too much, but aesthetically, it's going to be a lot cleaner. When people are coming in through the mudroom
Right.
and the garage, it's going to withstand the testaments of time. But also, carpet can keep odor, right?
True. That's a good
And if
point.
you're going to have families down here playing beer pong, drinking, enjoying their time down here, it's going to be a lot easier to clean up a mess with a more vinyl-related flooring than it is a carpet.
Beer pong? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know, yeah.
How about colors down here?
We're going to keep it light.
Okay.
Yep, I think a lot of buyers like the light wood finish
Okay.
on a vinyl, almost so it's kind of a continuation of the upper floors, and then white on the wall again, keeping it light and bright, and also makes the space seem bigger.
Okay. Brittany just told us about how to add value down here, but now we actually have to do it, which
Right.
is where you come in.
Yeah.
We got asbestos flooring, we got wood paneling, we got drop ceiling. Those seem relatively easy to fix, but I got a little half bath there that I've got to turn into a full bath. I've got this laundry facility behind me that we're going to move over and turn into a laundry room. What challenges are we facing down here?
Right, so plumbing is the big one, right? That's the one that I talked about with the upstairs bathroom, running that 3-inch drain down here. But in basements, I can't run below the ceiling. We're out of floor space. So
That's right.
now we're chipping concrete. And so what's going to happen is we're going to chip up most of this floor in this area. We're going to run all of our drains below the slab. The challenge is not so much that, but it's dealing with this asbestos while doing that. Because normally the rule of thumb with asbestos is similar to lead, that you're better off to encapsulate
That's right.
than to remove. Because of all the dust and the dangers associated, we want to encapsulate and not remove. And we can do that with an LVT or an LVP is going to do a great job of that down here. That's going to encapsulate it, keep everything safe for the family. That's also going to do well with water, not only from spills on top, but also water coming up from the bottom. LVT and LVP act as a moisture barrier. But I'm going to have to remove some of this asbestos, so I'm going to have to bring in a specialist for that, get some of the asbestos moved in the areas that we're chipping. We're going to keep that down to a minimum, and then once we do that, then everything else should be smooth sailing.
Day one of home improvement school, they teach you to identify asbestos flooring.
Yes.
What about the lighting down here. I'm thinking recessed lights.
Yes. Recessed lights are going to be the best. These overhead lights that are throwing this awful light, making us feel like we're in the scary part of your elementary school, prison, that kind of thing. We want to get these lights out of here. We want to put nice recessed lights throughout. They're not going to take up any ceiling space. They go up inside of here. We can put a ton down here, and we can get this space super bright really fast, which is going to make it seem so much bigger.
How are you going to run the ductwork out of here for this dryer behind me?
We're gonna have to run. We're gonna have to run up and in. We're gonna be able to do that though because the floor joists are running the way we want.
That's right.
Everything's running this way. So, and we're gonna keep it on this wall so we can get up into those floor joists and run right out of the back of the house.
What else do we need to know about down here?
My big concerns are the asbestos.
Yeah,
Right. We've already talked
too.
about that. The paneling, I'm not so much worried about it. But what I am worried about is when we take the paneling off the exterior walls. What a lot of people don't realize is that it's not actual framing on these exterior walls. People use furring strips, and if we run into furring strips, we have to get the house insulated to code. The only way to do that is with 2x4s and getting ourselves up to at least an R15 value for the insulation. So we're gonna have to probably reframe all these walls, but I won't know until I tear everything out.
Yeah, I see that as a problem, and that's a conversation that I have with clients a lot of times is, what is your paneling on? Sometimes we can tell, sometimes we can't tell, and that's just one of those things, like the wall upstairs with the duct running through it. We're going to have to figure out what's going on down here, and we have to bring it up to existing code. However, I think when this space is done, like Brittany said, it's going to add a lot of value.
It's going to be a great play space. It is going to make a great house guest over the weekend space because of the full bathroom. It's going to be a great space when you went down and played in the creek and the kids got all muddy. You walk them right in through the garage and shove them right in the shower.
That's
down here.
right. The dog's been out in
exactly.
puddles. Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll check back with Craig in a couple of months and see what he did down here. So we'll look forward to it.